If you've spent any time at all looking at builder websites or Zillow or anything, or you're on their email list, you see like every time we turn around, builders are changing their promotional strategy, right? Well, it's their marketing. It's like, hey, today it's $30,000 off. Tomorrow it's, $20,000 off in a pony. Then the next day it's, hey, we're going to give you this 4.99 rate, but then we're only going to give you 4.75 rate, or we're only going to do this on select housing. And you're like, it's really confusing. And it's like, I don't understand why this moves and shifts and changes, and why, last week I could get this deal, but today I can get a different deal. And what is going on? Are they scamming me? Is this a weird, like, what's going on? And so I want to give you a little bit of insight as to kind of the way the builders process this and the way that they look at their marketing to move homes. If we haven't met before, my name is Zach. My team and I, we sell new construction real estate here in the Dallas-Fort Worth market. Whether you're buying from a builder's inventory, which right now is a great opportunity to do, or you're building from the ground up, either way, I'm here to help and provide some insight on this. So builders, pull back, push forward, pull back, push forward, side to side. The ultimate thing that you need to understand is it's all marketing material, right? Every bit of it, no matter how they slice it, it's all marketing, because the goal is to sell a house. So what they're doing is they're just deciding, hey, how can we spend our money? How can we make things make sense? How can we do all of these things to get somebody in the door to buy them a house, right? Or not to buy them a house, but for them to buy a house. And it's not a scam. So you can't, I'm not telling you that, but I am telling you, like, it changes very regularly. And there's a lot of different factors that go into why these things change. So these things, when you look at builder incentives, look at them more like a tool, not necessarily a guarantee, right? You're not guaranteed that we're going to continue to see them doing closing costs and rate buy downs or design incentives on, build jobs. Like, it's a tool that they use, and they, move it left and right, whichever which way, and they adjust them constantly based on, sales pace, what it's costing them, inventory levels, what they're doing in other communities, how much money they're spending, how much they're selling, how much they're not selling, how much inventory they've got back. All of those things go into the bucket. And sometimes even within the same neighborhood, you can see a neighborhood swing from, hey, we're doing like nothing, to like, floodgates are open, we got to go. And it moves very, 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 very quickly. You got to stay on top of it, right? So what drives this stuff? Well, one, slow demand in the market equals bigger carrot, right? So like, hey, if they're not moving homes and their costs are piling up, the carrot that they hand out and put in front of you starts to get bigger. If the market doesn't need the carrot because people are showing up, because the rates are better, or because things have gotten more affordable, they take the carrot and they pull it back here, right? It's simple economics. So strong traffic, incentives shrink. Weak traffic, incentives grow. More inventory, more pressure. Less inventory, less pressure. And then the cost of money and what they're doing. So I've talked with you before, if you've watched any of our videos, about these builders doing buy downs and how they're doing it. And what they're doing in a lot of cases is they're just going to their lending partners and they are pre-buying the funds, right? So they're coming to the table with $5, 10, 12, $15 million with their lenders. And based on what's going on in the mortgage market, based on the bonds and based on what the Fed does, which is not a whole lot, but based on all of those dynamics, they go to their lending partner and say, hey, what's it going to take for us to get rates in a 4.99 or rates at a 5.25 with a 2-1 buy down? And their lending partner says, well, it's going to cost about this much. And so, okay, well, let's do it so that we can sell a house. And then they use that money for 30, 60, however long that money lasts for. And then at the end of it, they go back and evaluate like any good business does. And they say, okay, well, we spent this much money, which allowed us to sell, 50 homes, and we made this much in profit. Let's do it again. But see, the problem is when they go back to do it again, the economics have changed. It's like, okay, hey, you could spend $10 million and get, these 100 rates or whatever the number is. But now that same 10 million is going to buy you less because the market changed, or that same 10 million might buy them more money, right? So it's the cost of them moving money. The other thing that goes into that is the cost of them buying land, the cost of them developing, the cost of them holding. All of those things kind of factor into that. Right now, we're seeing so many builders they're getting screwed from the developers, right? So all of these developers are raising the cost of their land, they're raising the cost of their developments, because land is finite. And then the builder's saying, okay, well, we've got to figure it out. We're going to, what do? We either A, we start cutting features in our homes, which some of them are doing, or B, we eat the cost and we don't make as much money. I like that option, but not going to happen, right? So for example, I was talking to a builder like 2 weeks ago. We were having this conversation as the area VP, and we're talking about the new phase that they're opening in a particular neighborhood. So they did the first phase, and then they're coming back and they're getting ready to open up the next phase. And I said, man, what is this going to look like? He goes, honestly, our lot prices went up by 40% from the developer. They're charging more. They're charging 40% more. I was like, what is that going to do to your pricing? He said, well, right now the plan is for us to stair step our way into price increases. So we're going to start where we left off in the last phase, but every couple of homes that we sell, we're going to gradually start raising our price on our base pricing, help get us back to where we hope that we can be. And if we have to make adjustments along the way, we will make those adjustments as we need to. And I'm like, oh, that sounds painful. So that's where it's like I keep talking about, if you're going to build, kind of one of those places where you're first might be a really, really great opportunity. We also see, one day, for example, the builders will say, hey, we can't, we're at our bottom on this house and we can't go past, like, let's just call it 490 and we can give you a little bit in closing costs. And you're like, okay, well, what do we do with that? And then the home, 2 doors down, two more weeks later, they're okay, well, nope, we can drop it and we can do this. I need to give you a little bit of insight on this. This is not like when you go into the sales office with the builder, this is not that person most of the time playing games with you. What it really is their management playing games with them. And so they know, like, and every builder and every community functions a little bit differently. Some of them have more freedom and autonomy than others, but sometimes it's like they know, hey, here's what I've been approved to say yes to. And then anything beyond that has to get submitted to management. And they're like, well, they won't say yes to it. But then management comes back and they're like, oh, hey, well, I wouldn't say yes to this yesterday, but I'll say yes to it today. And they're just, I don't understand. So that builds up as part of the pressure too. The other thing that builds into this is as we come to end of quarters and end of years, as fiscal years end, builders are trying to say, hey, what can we do just to get one more, right? Hey, one more sold. What can we do? How can we get aggressive within reason? Because they're also trying to, in a way, protect all of their future sales in the neighborhood. And to be honest, it's a very, very delicate process. So it's like, hey, one day we were able to get a $10,000 price reduction, and nobody said yes to it. But the next day it's like, oh, well, now we can't do the 10, but we have a new rate promo that we're doing. It's like, well, wait, what? And it's like, well, we didn't, we just bought into these rates and now we can do this. And then it's we use it till it's gone. Sometimes when they do these rate promos, not all the builders, but there's some builders that'll be like, hey, we have a 2.99% rate. And then in very, 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 very small print, they'll come back and they'll be like, it's on like one home in the neighborhood. And I'm like, are you for real? You guys are bums, because it's the ugly house, right? It's the one that nobody wants, that they can't get sold. It's their loss leader, and it's like, well, can we transfer that rate over to the other house? And they're like, nah, we're not doing that. It's a fun game. It's a fun game. So how do we play this smart, right? You have to, we're looking at their inventory. You have to see the difference in what, kind of what they're selling and how they're navigating it. And you just kind of got to watch. Assume you probably have $5,000 to $10,000 to $15,000 in most places. Some of them, not so much, but in some, a little bit, at least negotiate. So we want to be realistic in what we ask for. We want to watch for standing inventory. We want to time it potentially end of quarter, end of year. And ultimately, beyond any of that, we want to find the house that we like. Because if you get the best deal in the world, but you hate the house, then you're going to be miserable, right? So all of these things come and go. The incentives are going to change and they're going to shift. And we see this happening in real time. So it's like when you find the deal that makes the most sense for you, hit that moving target, because that's what it is. These are moving targets that we're trying to navigate and figure out every single day. So it's like, hey, when we find the house in the location that makes sense and the deal makes sense for you, like, and you catch it at the right moment and you catch it at its peak, you can't time it. You just have to make it make sense for your specific scenario. Now, if you're like, I don't even know where to begin, I don't know how to start, I would love to have a conversation with you and just say, hey, here's kind of what we're looking at, here's what we're feeling, here's what's potential, here's what's possible, and in a way that would be helpful to you guys. So keep watching with the builders, because they keep doing these 4 point, as long as the rates stay high, I think they're going to continue to buy them down. as long as, affordability stays where it's at, they're going to continue to buy down rates or do closing costs or give temporary buy downs, whatever they have to do, because they're in the business. It's a marketing play. They're in the business of moving home. So like if you see a flyer that says up to $100,000 off, well, that doesn't mean that every home in that neighborhood has been dropped $100,000. What that means is there's probably one home across DFW, across their whole catalog, that was, almost $100,000 price reduction, or they dropped it and then they're factoring in all the money that they're spending to get the buy down and the closing costs, and that's where they're adding it up. So don't be deceived by the marketing costs, or don't be deceived by the marketing ploys, but they're not scams, right? So just go in open-minded, understand what you're looking at, understand what you're asking for as best as you can, try and time it right. If you find homes that are been sitting for a little bit, and that's crazy a little bit too, because it depends on when they listed it. I'm just trying to tell you, there's so many things that go into this, that ultimately find something that makes the most sense for you and strike while the iron is hot and hit the target while you can. If you have questions or you need help, I would love to have that conversation with you. Be honored to help you and your family any way we can. Please reach out. Contact information down below. Let's go get as much of their money as we possibly can and get you the home of your dreams. So see you guys in our next video.